Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Today we're going to
that intro music hitting, man.
Alpha test or beta test, the tower, or the depths of hell, whatever we're going to do. I've seen tons of speculation. Today I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. I know we had the podcast with Tim or Ash, as most of you know him.
Yeah, we still got to finish watching that.
We kind of like talked about this top line idea of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. Today I'm going to give you a bit more detail around proposed dates that we're aiming for. Around what the experience should feel like, so that everyone is a bit more in the know. I'm actually on the build.
Now, I got to say real quick, guys, this game looks insane right now. The crazy thing is I might have to do like an early compare contrast on what some of this stuff looked like to what it looks like now. And the fact it's still like in development is crazy because it's like, wait, you're going to make it look even better, right? Like that's the crazier part. So there's already so much just to talk about here, but we got to continue. I just got to say that though, the game looks insane
right now, which means it's our unstable build, but I figured I'd show you some cool stuff as well, just whilst we're kind of like talking through what is going on. So ultimately what's going to happen for this kind of like alpha wave, we've got about 40,000 people signed up.
That's a good number.
We want to get all of those people through the experience if we can. That's the
40K is pretty good.
Our proposal is to have internally this kind of like breakdown of the game mode is ready by the end of May, which is kind of like our original plan. We then have some internal like friends and family testing periods to make sure we understand how quickly we can beat the tower. We understand
that's good.
Mechanics, does it feel good?
No, I want to say that's actually a really important thing to note. So I used to play D2 like pretty heavily, and like one of the things that I always really liked that the development team did that I feel like a lot of developers have strayed away from, not just simply play testing their content or their game that they're making, but actually going through like the experience of like when they drop like a brand new piece of content, like in Destiny, like if they dropped a brand new raid, they would try to clear it with the community. Like it would be like the coolest thing to see. And I feel like that idea of like, okay, we have to make sure we kind of do like this, quote unquote family friends testing first, is seeing how we can actually beat it. I feel like the more that the developers, which obviously is, Simon, Chosen Sam, the, game developers, the creators, as long as they know what exactly a lot of the game entails, they'll be able to coincide with the feedback that the players are giving, right? So like, for example, if like players are like, this doesn't feel that great, they could determine a lot better, hey, this is something that isn't really that problematic. It might just be like, hey, your gear sucks right now, right? Or it really could be something that needs to be fundamentally changed, right? So that's something that I feel like is really, really huge because a lot of development teams miss that and they don't actually really know what players are really referring to. So when things come up, they're just kind of like, oh, that's an issue. Like, so you kind of don't want that. And so it's kind of good that they're preemptively doing that.
Does it feel right? We then go into like a second phase of that. That's basically going to be a phase 1 and a phase 2 of that right the way through June.
Okay.
And then from July, we're expecting to bring the first group of community players in the mix.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The way we're going to have it is 3 different alpha waves. Okay, so wave 1 ideally is going to be a big chunk, like maybe even as much as half of the pre-signed up players.
Okay,
signed up to a beta. It's basically, we're calling it an alpha now, but half of that group of players will receive emails to say, come and join wave 1. That's going to last about 10-11 days is what we're proposing here.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We then have this period of time where we take all of that feedback on. We're doing bug fixes, we're doing some tweaks to the build, all that type of stuff. But then wave 2 to come in, which will be towards the end of July.
Ooh, okay. I kind of like this idea.
Length of time for that build, and we get another chunk of time to do any refinements. And then there will be a third wave. And the third wave, we're thinking to open out to anybody who's been involved so far. So if you want to go again and try and beat your first experience, learn from everyone else who's done some runs, you can come again.
Wow. So I actually really like this beta take. So that's like one of the things that I've done nothing but beta alphas. I'm in a few private alphas right now for a few games that are going to be coming. And one thing that I will say, I've never seen it done in this fashion, where they're actually doing this like kind of wave format and then adjusting and then doing another wave, like basically like almost right after, which is really good. I feel like that's actually a really, really good way of formatting it, because that kind of gives you almost immediate feedback right away. Like, okay, we fixed these things. Let's see what we got. Let's see if those things work. Then they can readjust those things again if they need to. I will say, like, especially because like some games I've been like, for example, like a game I'm actually covering on one of my channels, Ethereum Restart. I've been like playing the beta for that game for like over 2 years. And that was like very painful, just in the note of like how stretched out it was. I will say, like, having it to where it seems like it's a little bit more condensed, to where you're kind of having players get into like that, getting that dopamine of actually playing the game. And then you like kind of start rolling out some of those fixes, changes, QOL things, whatever it is that you want to do. And then you get another wave coming in. Okay, we got our dopamine. And then you open it up to the general masses. I think that that's one of the things that a lot of games really mess up on, is that they have so many betas and it's so exclusive, or it's like, yeah, it's really exclusive. It basically makes it feel like, man, when are we getting the game? Or, oh man, like, I want to play, but I can't get in. So this seems like it's going to be kind of open. And even with the waves, like, I feel like that's actually pretty cool, because that's just going to, again, allow them to be able to refine the game before they even the next wave. So even the next wave, I would say technically would be getting a better experience at that point.
Now the idea here, so that could be up to 40,000 players. We know from experience that not everyone who's signed up is actually going to participate. So maybe it'll be like a 50 to 70% of those players will actually participate.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Thinking to have a leaderboard system running on hellhades.com and fateless.gg.
Okay.
Showing the community's positioning in that experience. So what does the experience look like? Let's just go through that quickly. And whilst we're doing that, I'm just going to show you a couple of cheeky little things that are popping into build.
Hey, you got the inventory? Okay.
But anyway, so the hero roster screen, which will be fully accessible throughout the kind of alpha experience.
Look at the stats. That looks clean.
The hero that you want to upgrade, and you'll be able to go into the upgrade button and take them up through levels. So you will get from the tower, you will get drops which enable you to upgrade your heroes.
Oh, nice.
Any like food champions that you would need as drops. That would include any of the kind of currency that you would need to be able to actually upgrade their experience. So anything to level them up will come as drops from certain floors in the tower. The higher you get up to those towers, when you get to one of those levels that drops experience, the better the experience return will be.
Oh, so that's not bad.
What we're thinking here is the tower is almost like a mini game in itself. And a few people have asked, will this tower be, on launch? Will this tower be like a feature? There will be a tower on launch, okay? There will be
that's pretty good.
It's like this, but what the difference here is all of the drops are around core loop of building heroes, leveling them up, gearing them out,
and probably progression. Okay, so this is actually a really interesting approach. So for those of you guys that pay attention to like some of the events and things that like Hell Hades has done in like Raid Shadow Legends, which is why I'm so glad like he's developing his own game, because he's able to basically apply this to his own like baby basically. And you're gonna be seeing like with this, it's going to be a format I haven't seen done in a beta where there's actually a tournament and not like your traditional player versus player, my team versus your team, but it's actually about like content completion. And I think that that's actually something that's really, really fun, really engaging. And I feel like more people on average would be more willing to get involved in that, because everybody's going to be trying to do something witty or different. And I think that that's one of the things that's really going to be a huge driving force. What's making me actually even more excited for the game too is that, right? Like, and I feel like there's some really, really good games that are coming out, but this is something that I feel like like can set the game apart, and really give it a feel and a vibe unlike any other game out in the market. You don't really have too many games that are doing things like this, specifically in this niche in mobile gaming, right? So I think that that's going to be a really, really huge boon for the game.
So the full core loop is built on floors of a tower rather than going around all these different areas of the game, which would be the normal experience.
Yeah.
So
that works for the beta.
To get experience, you'll be
so it seems like for the beta, they're just trying to give us a separate experience so that when we feel the experience or get to experience the game on release, we're actually having a new experience. And I think that that's actually a really important thing. Again, something I've not seen a lot of companies do. Usually when you go into the official release is exactly what you played in the beta for the fourth time. And I think sometimes that even leads to people maybe not being as nearly as engaged just because they're like, well, I've done this 5 times already, or 2 times or 3 times already, versus like this is still some sort of new experience to basically have.
Get fodder, champions, you'll be able to get the ability to ascend. All of these things dropping on different floors is what we're thinking. You'll be able to farm, like books to, or scrolls for us to be able to upgrade materials. So all of that will be accessible through floors of a tower. There will also be the opportunity to get armor sets. So different floors of the tower will drop different sets of gear, a bit like if you went into a dungeon and farmed certain gear sets. So you'll be able to find good items to upgrade your heroes.
Okay.
The further you're up in the tower, the better quality of gear will drop. Different floors will have different sets available. So there'll still
That's
be
pretty cool.
Like grind element to the tower, but it'll be over a condensed period of time.
Okay.
Same sort of thing as gear will be weapons. Weapons will drop probably from mini bosses or bosses because they're a big deal.
Okay.
And again, you could go in. It's your decision whether you're going to farm experience, farm gear, farm weapons. All of those things will be in your control to try and progress through the tower as quickly as you can with the resources you're given.
Okay.
I guess one of the other things which will definitely be up for grabs will be awakening. So
that looks sick.
Drop, and therefore the ability to awaken them to different levels will also drop. It will be like I don't know, take on one of the bigger bosses or a boss point, not a mini boss, probably a main boss, and you will find a drop table for heroes, and that might be in this particular level, I've got a chance to get copies of Beowulf.
Oh, that's sick. Okay.
Or I don't know, Ran. So ultimately, there'll be this drop table of rewards and a percentage chance to get those heroes. So if you don't get what he's saying, he's basically saying free to play farmable characters, maxed out. You can max them out. You can like that. That actually is like really huge to have. And what all of this is just basically showing me is that there's going to be progressive progression, which means that a lot of the progression that we're going to be seeing is going to be things that allow us to ease into the content versus like, you didn't summon this. So yeah, good luck. I think that again, I get it. Like, and I don't even think people are going to be upset about this, but as a person that has been playing raid quite extensively, I think that that's one of the biggest things that a game like that runs into is that like if you don't pull it, there's certain things that you just aren't going to get for free, and it's not really going to help you progress, right? So I think that that's actually a really, really important touch. You will be able to go in and take them up to different levels of awakening, which will empower them further. So pretty much anything to make a hero stronger and the heroes themselves will drop from different levels of the tower. That's the way we're thinking of it right now. The only thing which won't be available because it wouldn't fit our system would be masteries, and that's going to be something which comes for the full beta. And when we talk beta, that's basically in our minds now like a release of the game.
Okay.
It's like playing early level. It's like being an early adopter of the game. So our thinking has changed with what a beta should be. And it's really from seeing what other games are doing and how they treat it. But a beta will be a very near to finished version of the game. And that will come a bit later now than we originally planned.
Okay. Okay. So that's actually pretty good.
There will be a good selection of legendary, epic, rare, common and uncommon heroes. You can see obviously a lot of them already starting to come together in game.
Nah, she looks sick.
Starting to get animated and VFX and all that type of stuff. So we want for the experience to be like a polished experience of the game, and we're doing a lot of work right now to make sure that that's the case for when you guys get to play the alpha. So all you'll do is you'll come to like a sanctum screen like this, and pretty much the only things that will be available to you would be like the hero screen that I've just been in, to do all of those things around upgrading your heroes. And then in the battle screen, the only one that would not be kind of like grayed out would be the tower, and then you would go in there to complete your content. We're not thinking to have a Godforge because all of the heroes will just come from drops from like a loot table for different levels of the tower.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Some people have asked, is this going to be like a normalized mode, anything like that? That's not the plan. So the plan is because normalized would mean every hero's got the same stats and the same gear and all that type of stuff. We want you to have the experience to fully customize your heroes, to form different teams, to take on different challenges that we lay out for you. And the feedback that we want is what feels good, which combinations are working really well, which heroes feel really strong, perhaps overpowered, which heroes feel particularly weak. Do you feel like the game experience is flowing nicely for you?
Okay.
Do you feel like the combat works well for you? All of those type of different things are really what we're going to be trying to gain from this. And ultimately, it's very similar, I guess, in terms of all of the things that you'd have accessible to our original plan of the beta, but we're doing it more in this kind of like challenge mode, really to make it more fun and accessible for you guys.
That's really cool.
In terms of rewards, and a lot of people are asking this as well.
This is the big part,
like for participating. So we're thinking right now there will be things like cosmetics which nobody else will be able to get ever again, and that could be as simple as for your portrait, a border which no one else could get, or an actual portrait which no one else could get again.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like we were part of the early bird club type of vibe. So anyone who participates at all and plays over their period of time for a decent number of the days would be able to get that. There would be potentially a skin for a hero. We're kind of talking about that. One of the heroes that you actually get.
I was about to say, it'd have to be a free one.
Yeah. Cool. Again, we're thinking for it to be exclusive for people that participate in this event. There would also be almost like a bit of a drop of goodies for people that participated as well for when we actually launch the game. So that could include things like the Aether Crystals, which is our version of summoning in the game. It could be like an early level like gear drop. It could be
that's pretty sick.
Energy, gold to upgrade stuff, like all of those type of softer currencies in the game. Plus, a little bit of a head start in terms of a few pools, a few champion pools and that type of thing. Yeah,
so that's not bad. That just seems like a little bit of an extra incentive. I also feel like that kind of falls into the umbrella of like, it's like the people that didn't play and like help prepare the game for everybody. Like, you're talking about like the general masses. I mean, hey, they're still going to probably get like pre-registration rewards, but I feel like, testing rewards and things of that nature. I think it's understandable, especially at this point now, because people are just a lot more aware of it, that this is something that like people set aside time knowing that they were going to get their accounts wiped. I think that of course, hey, you deserve something for that. So I feel like that's actually, again, a really, really solid plan, just to ensure that players are actually getting some sort of reward for all of this stuff.
What we don't want to do though is drop 5 legendaries or something crazy like that, which just means that everybody else is miles behind you at the start. So we're still playing around with what that looks like, but ultimately we want it to be a cool package, and certainly the people that finish higher might get, in terms of this competition, we'll get something very cool as well. So we're still playing around with that side of it, the rewards, but ultimately there will be rewards for you both in terms of cosmetics and goodies for kind of like a launch experience. So I guess the last thing to call out here is, we want this experience to be hard, right? So we're not expecting everybody to hit, floor 150 and then start to fight the final boss. We're expecting it to be possible to do that, but we're not expecting everyone to be able to do that, because there will be like areas where you have to go back and empower your heroes to really be able to overcome things. You'll have to pull together the right type of team comps to be able to beat challenges. We want for that to be your experience so that we can see where players are struggling, where players are finding it too easy, and that type of thing. But also, because we want it to be a challenge, right? We don't want it to be just like this easy experience that everyone just blows through.
Yep, true.
Now, if 10,000 people actually do beat the tower, they'll get to a final boss, and the final boss will be a unlimited damage experience, which still gives us then that tiering of competitive gameplay, right?
Who can score the highest on that? Yeah.
Who's actually able to beat this sort of scaling damage boss who ultimately can't die. And then it'll be a case of who got the most damage in there.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
And I guess the cool thing is we're only building out features that we need for like the final release anyway. We need that type of boss mechanic that you can get unlimited damage against. We need the tower experience. Anything like drops are just things that happen within our game engine anyway. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff we're building here, which just needs to happen, right? And we just think this will be a more fun experience and way of kind of like, giving you guys that type of gameplay experience. So that's going to be it for this video.
Wow, yeah. I mean, honestly, it seems like they really are trying to, and just from the looks of it, it's like they're doing it in a really smart format where they're kind of ISO testing everything. So it's like, okay, let's condense the content so that we don't give up too much, but it's still going to allow players to be able to get somewhat of a full experience of what the game actually is. So I like where this game is going right now. I like what Godforge has been able to accomplish. I like, what it's doing. I really feel like they really have a solid project on their hand. I think with this alpha going into, the betas and all that stuff that they're going to have in the future into their release, I am excited to see what Godforge is going to do. Again, guys, let me know what you guys think. I feel like for what it's worth, the game is starting to really flesh out even more so. Like I already felt like it was fleshing out, but now it's like, this is a game, right? And I think that they have been able to accomplish something that is, again, unlike any other, where they are building a game entirely based off of the community. I think that this is the coolest thing to be a part of and to just be able to witness. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, guys, because we are going to be featuring all Godforge and other fateless projects on this channel. So definitely make sure that you guys subscribe. But that's going to be that with this one, guys. Everyone stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.